Entertainment. Shout out to everybody, man. We're Second Nature Band. We just played our first two tunes for this set. The first song was Riddle Me This by the incomparable Sean Martin, famous jazz keyboardist, producer, has done everything. The second song was called FTB by Robert Glasper, which you guys know it as probably I'll Be Okay off of the Black Radio records. But before he put some lyrics to it, he had it as an instrumental. So I wanted to cover it as the way that he originally did it, because a lot of people, hadn't really heard of Glasper before the more commercial type stuff. But Glasper's been that dude for a long time, as we all know. So, but again, we're a Second Nature Band. We have a couple more instrumentals we're going to do for you. We'll open it up for JC and the re-up. I'm going to introduce the guys real quick. We have on guitar Brother Aaron Day tonight. Give it up for Aaron. We have Ranier Brooks on bass. We have Brother Brian Brown on keys. We have Brother Rolls Royce on trombone. And we have my brother Ryan Tedder on saxophone. So we did a cover tunes. We're going to do some originals that we have as well that we've recorded over the years. Man, you guys can check us out on all the different musical platforms. Apple Music, Spotify, Google Play, you name it. We have our music as 2ND Nature, Second Nature. You'll see a logo. It's green and black and blue, I believe. So we can link up after. But yes, we're going to do a couple originals by the titles of Bring It Back and Swinging Things. And then I actually have some singers for you guys I'm going to have come up for the last 30 minutes of our set. So here we go.